5 ways to manage the question, are you sure? Are you sure is the phrase that pops on your mind from your conscience when you decide to take the honest side of life. Now, when you decide to be honest with yourself, to be sincere with yourself, the honest truth is that deep within, you want to be sure of every step you take. You want to be certain on everything you do. And this question, this creating phrase, cuts across different areas of life, in knowledge, in finance, in lifestyle, in career, whichever area of life that matters to you at that time. Your conscience will put to you by asking that simple question, are you sure? Now, when you ask this same question, are you sure? Your response to that determines the level of success you stand to achieve by the time you put that into consideration. But unfortunately, a very good number of persons have missed it. They missed it rather in a way to manage this question of sincerity. And when they fail to answer it properly, they become anxious. And then when you talk about that anxiety, which comes from uncertainty about an attempt they're about to make, they become anxious. 5 ways to manage anxiety, to manage uncertainty. 1 is to replace expectation with plan. It's very, very much expected that every human has an expectation. Whatever you do, it is expected that you hope to have a favorable end. Now, but if you do not plan properly, your expectation would be victimized. That is to say, nothing good would come out of the whole of the plans you've made or whatever you intend to get at the end of it. So expectation should rather be replaced with plan, so that when you plan, it is better to do more of the planning than more of the expectation, than having that beautiful expectation. The planning is what leads the expectation to accomplishment. I mean, what leads your intention to an accomplishment, which grants you the expectation. So when you give less concern to the side of the planning and you expect more, tendency is that what you expect would not come true. So you need to do more of planning. Just like we entered the year 2020, a lot on the mind, a lot of beautiful wishes, beautiful desires, beautiful expectation from people of all sorts. But if expectation is not coupled by plan, you are bound to meet a victimized intention, bastardized, and eventually you would have to just bear whatever comes. So please learn to have plans more in place than the expectation itself. The expectation is just the wish, and the year is even fast running. I believe you must have had a lot of expectation from the year. You had a lot of expectation. You hope that at the end of the year you're going to meet. And if plans are not there, now the plan should be workable. That's what it means. The plans should be workable. January is planned, February is planned, March is planned, April is planned, not just in the month form, but on week basis, and not just in weeks, but on daily basis, so that your plans are achievable, they are measurable, and then you are being sure that whatever you do, you are certainly going to accomplish 1 or 2 or 3, which will eventually lead to a full achievement of weeks, and full achievement of weeks will now give you a good achievement in each month. Whatever you do, whether business, whether students, or whatever you engage in, whatever your endeavor is, this is to emphasize that plan is very, very, very important, crucial, and expected. Now the next is that you sieve information. If you go for every information, then you are taking in the junks of all time. Not every information is meant for you. You are expected to pick the one that matters to you, the one that is meant for you. If you go for everything, you be for everything, and when you are for everything, nothing is for you in the sense. So you should be able to sieve information. Now, every moment there is an agenda you have, every moment there is an intent you have, every moment there is something you want to carry out. You don't go for information that are not relevant to it. Some might be relevant but may not be necessary. They may be relevant, but they may not be very, very necessary to that thing you are doing at that time. So learn to sieve information, pick the right ones, dump the one that are not supposed to be, go for what can work for you, the one that matters to you, that you are sure of this. And that is to say, your mind must be diligent enough. This matters most on the side of knowledge. Now, when you seek knowledge on a daily basis, we assimilate knowledge, we come across new things. But what you come across, you should be diligent and disciplined enough to check properly and get the one that applies to it. Pick the one that is necessary, pick the one that is useful to that agenda of yours at that particular time, and discard the rest. So when you sieve information, you would be able to station your mind and be able to remain certain on what knowledge should apply to that situation at that time. So sieve information and get it right so that you don't stay in doubt. Excess of information will give you ability fatigue, and by the time you cannot carry out the ones you had, you just remain a dump of information. So please learn to sieve information. And the next is to prepare for different possibilities. Preparing for different possibilities. It's good to plan. When you plan, you are positive about the whole thing that should come, but at the same time, have this flexible side of you, not in full. Have a little side of flexibility inside of you, so that whatever comes, you stay for it. And that is to say that you only succeed because you fail. Now, if there was no failure at any point, you won't be able to measure success. So each time failure comes, count it a point that you are actually making progress, and that progress is measured by the failure that's just been experienced. So as you move further, you are sure that you are making a very good progress. So learn to have a side of possibility, learn to expect different kind of possibility, learn to always have an expectation that if this wouldn't work out, what next do I do to improve? Possibilities abound. And so when you are of that mind, you are being able to manage the quest. You are being able to manage the question, are you sure? You'll be certain that you have a goal to meet. You'll be certain that something must come. And then if it is not favorable, you have a way to push ahead. And the next is to reflect on past success and be confident. Now, you would not tell me, and I would not want to believe, that everything you've been doing ever since until you are coming across this video has been failure. Certainly, there are times you had done certain things that amounted to success, if not huge success. Now, your ability to reflect on your past success, bring it into thought, bring it into imagination at a point when you need to be sure of what next to do, helps you to get a level of strength. It summons a level of energy in you to make you believe more in yourself that this step you're about to take will amount to success. If you were able to achieve a goal you set out in a particular year, previous years, and you came to a point where you achieved it, now setting a goal for this year would not be a problem to you. You are setting and you are sure that whatever you do at this point will surely amount to success. So learn to reflect on maybe the little success you had in the past or the huge success you have in the past. We are humans. You need to get to your archive, get to pick some of them, remind yourself of how you succeeded in this, remind yourself of the diligence you put into that, remind yourself of the effort you put across all that made that success come true. Now, someone seems courage, someone seems effort, and believe that what next you are going to do, that thing you are not sure of what will come out of it, would amount to success. The next is focus on what you can control to avoid unproductive worries. Now, when you want to carry out a task, it is proper to be concerned what would be. It's proper to worry what the outcome will look like. But when the worry is becoming unproductive, it doesn't spoil you into accurately managing that situation, accurately putting the plan, fixing them, knitting them one to the other, and putting it through. The worry is not possible. If the worry is negative, leave it out. It means it's not something you can control. If it is beyond measure, leave it out. Now, I wouldn't want to go into health scenarios, but Like we used to have stories told to us. I haven't experienced actually, but it is very, very common amongst human. It is something that is done. Now, when a person becomes sick to a point where his life cannot be sustained, there's what we call mercy killing. Now, at this point, they call the family to order. They say, "Come, what do we do in this situation? Do we end the life of this individual, or should we continue the medication?" Now they come to a compromise and they say, "End the life, please." And the doctor will go ahead and do what we call mercy killing. Now, this is what happens at that time. Now you are in a dilemma, you are in a situation that you cannot really tell what the outcome would be. You cannot tell what is going to be at the very end. You know, whatever you do, it doesn't work. Focus your energy on what works. Leave out what doesn't work. Avoid unproductive worries. Now, bringing the whole of these together, replacing expectation with plan, sieving information, preparing for different possibilities, reflecting on past success and being confident, or focusing on what you can control to avoid unproductive worries. All of this put together with your experiences of the past, whatever you learned in the past. Forget about whatever failure you had in the past. In essence, learn from the failures of the past, live for today, and hope for a better tomorrow. It is the now that matters, but tomorrow matters a great deal. I hope this finds you right. And if you really paid attention to this, I hope you would be able to manage that curating phrase in your heart that asks you oftentimes that, "Are you sure?" So if you are sure, go ahead and make a good success. Thank you very much.